The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, City of North Las Vegas, Nevada, on your new Pierce Fire apparatus, job number 37058. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting on the face of the front bumper on the passenger and driver side, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker. Just inside that location, you'll find dual air horns on the passenger and driver side. There are 2 paddle latches located on the face of the front bumper. This will gain access into the tubbed storage location for your front hose load. Unit identifier 58 located on the face of the front bumper. As we move up onto the bumper extension onto the passenger side, you'll find your mechanical siren, and as we move over to the driver's side, you'll find your fire bell. Moving up onto the cab face on the outer edge, you'll find a turn indicator marker light on the passenger and driver side. Just inside that location is the headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. High beam is located on the inside. Just above that, you'll find an emergency warning light forward facing. Directly behind the Pierce logo is where you'll find the release mechanism for gaining access into the hood area for daily checks. As we move to the windshield, there are 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. And as we move to the A-pillar, you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. Up to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 identification clearance lights. Located directly in the center is a forward-facing floodlight. As we move up onto the roof of the apparatus, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located within inside the center of the light bar is where you'll find your Opticom. Let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups of the items we just talked about. First, front bumper extension, and on the side is where you'll find side-facing emergency warning lights. This is the front bumper hose load. It is foam capable, accessible from those 2 paddle latches. There's a swivel 1.5-inch discharge located in the center and also dry deck material. Once again, directly behind the Pierce logo, release mechanism for gaining access into the hood. On the passenger side, you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. As we move over to the driver's side, you'll find the recovery coolant reservoir. You'll also find instructions on the vertical wall on the very back for raise and lowering of the cab. Please ensure all items are secured within the cab before this operation. Also, you'll find the switch located, which is protected, and then also remote located, which is not pictured in this item. To the far right, power steering fluid reservoir. Close up here of the bumper extension on the driver's side, emergency warning light, and then also the shoreline inlet, which is an auto eject 20 amp. Air inlet located on the lower portion of the body. General view here of the entire side of the vehicle. Let's focus in on the cab section next. First, starting with your front axle, Alcoa wheel, and also Michelin tires. You'll also find a visual sight gauge indicator in the center of the axle. Back to the front bumper extension where you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light, auto eject shoreline inlet 20 amp, and then also the air inlet. As we move up onto the cab face, you'll find the marker turn indicator light. And as we move to the doors themselves, easily accessible with a gloved hand, these are your door lock and latch. They are keyed locks. Right next to that is where you'll find the grab handle. They do have illumination directly behind. As we move down, you'll find that unit identifier 58. And then as we move to the rear cab wall, a lower zone emergency warning light. Moving up to the very top section here, rear cab is where you'll find a side-facing scene light. And then just beneath that, you'll find a LED water tank level indicator. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pump panel section next. Just a general view. We'll come back to this in just a few moments, and now we'll move to the body section. You'll find wheel chocks located in front of and rear of the rear axle. Just above that location, you'll find your marker turn indicator light just in front of the rear axle. Also directly over the axle, on the side of the body, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. There are also some pan doors located on this side. The very front is your SCBA bottle storage for 2 SCBA bottles. To the rear, a single SCBA bottle storage. And then just behind that, you'll find the fill location for your DEF and ultra low sulfur diesel fill. Quick view of all compartments open. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus. We'll identify a few items within this area first, starting with an emergency warning light, brake, turn, and reverse light. Just above that, you'll find rear scene lights switch. That's the cup switch, your license plate, and then also rear scene lights. Moving up to the very top, a little difficult to see in this image, these are rear-facing emergency warning lights. There are also fold-down steps both on the passenger and driver side vertical surfaces. Also a recessed traffic advisor directly in the center. There are two 2.5-inch rear discharges, and then also a backup camera located in the center directly under the Pierce logo. As we move to the left, you'll find an additional lift and turn latch will gain you access into additional storage for long-handled tool storage, and then to the right, D-handle gains you access to your ground ladder storage location. We've got a few images of that in just a few moments. As we move around to the passenger side of the vehicle, full view of the vehicle. We'll look at the body section next. For the most part, same configuration and layout as you have on the driver's side. Midsection of your pump panel area. And then also as we move to the cab area, the difference here is we have a side-facing camera just behind the grab handle. All compartments are open. Let's go ahead and go now into the driver's side. We'll start first with the door panel on the driver's side. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information. We have a door lock latch combination, and then also electric window controls. These are controls for all 4 windows, including a grab handle. When the door latch is unlocked or opened, the step will auto deploy. As we look to about the floor area of the seat or pedestal, you'll find when plugged into Shoreline Power, your auto charge system will activate. At about the right ankle, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, and cold tire inflation. This also houses the VIN number of the vehicle, all of the fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and also fluid type. At the floor, you'll find the air horn and mechanical siren foot switch. Just above that, about the left knee area, you'll find the engine transmission diagnostic port, tech module, and display port. Just beneath that, you'll find some switches located in the very bottom. This is your ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and regen inhibit switch. As we move to the dash, on the left, you'll find your 4-way flashers or hazard lights, ignition and start switch. Just inside of that location, a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage or disengage all emergency lights. Headlight switch, and right next to that is your panel switch, which will allow you to brighten or dim lights within preview of the operator. On the opposite side of the steering column, OK to engage the high idle indicator and switch. As we move to the gauges now, you'll find your transmission oil depth level and water temp on the left. On the right, front air, rear air, volts, and fuel. Tachometer and speedometer are located directly in the center. Diagnostic information will display on the tally lights and information zone below and above the tachometer. Let's take a quick look just to the right of the operator space. Your vehicle is equipped with a command zone. That is this touchscreen and also function button. Tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. Please see the owner's manual for more information. We also have mirror controls for left and right, and then also in switches for your engine brake on and off, setting switch for low, medium, and high, a radio push to talk button, fire bell, and mirror heat. Also to the left, yellow diamond, pull to apply your system parking brake, and push to release, an Allison transmission pad. As we move to the pump shift, there are instructions on its placard for its operations from road to pump, and then also from pump to road. Just as a reminder, 2 green indicators, pump engaged and OK to pump, must be active before exiting the cab for pump operations. Climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. As we look overhead of the operator seat, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle, 9 feet 9 inches.
The length of the vehicle, 33 feet 1 inch. Gross vehicle weight rating, 48,500 pounds. We also have the 5-digit job number located on this placard, 37058-02. As we move to the right, we have additional switches. These are membrane switches. First, emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, upper rear warning, high beam flash, and opticom. Additional switch panel right next to this, just to the right of this location, starting first with the load manager, driver scene, passenger scene, a siren brake, which is for the mechanical siren, front scene, driver's flood, passenger flood, and rear scene. When any of those lights have been activated, the green light will illuminate around the switch area. Control module for your electronic siren and PA speaker. Control module for your traffic advisor. As we move to the center upper portion of the cab area, you'll find this light. If illuminating, do not move your apparatus. You may have a compartment or door open. Also, seatbelt information, red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted, green they are in the seat and belted. General view overhead, push on and off white or red lens lights. As we move directly behind the operator seat, you'll find the manual tilt handle, also a speaker located with volume control. This is for your backup camera. As we move to the front axle, once again, visual sight gauge indicator, Alcoa wheel, and Michelin tires. As we now move into the rear portion of the cab area, let's start with the door panel, and affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, electric window control, and also a grab handle. Once again, when the door has been activated or opened, the step will deploy. As we move inside the cab, we have seating for 4 in the rear section of the cab, 2 forward-facing and 2 rear-facing. Off to the side, you'll find an additional compartment with adjustable shelves, LED lighting. As we look to the rear wall of the cab, you'll find your David Clark headset system. As we move to the seat pedestal, you'll find additional storage located in here. Lift and turn latch will gain you access into this space. Just forward of this location is where you'll find the lift and turn latch, which gains you access to the rear portion of the engine. On the top section is where you'll find a 12-volt access via USB. As we move just down from this location, this is your daily checks for oil and transmission. Let's go ahead and go now to the exterior, the pump panel area. We'll start in the very upper left-hand corner with the crosslays. There are 3 crosslays located here, crosslay 1, crosslay 2, and also a 2.5-inch crosslay, each foam capable. Also in the gray module, you'll find your oil, volts, fuel, and water temp. Located in the center, you have a tachometer. You also have additional tally lights in this area. First, there's a check engine, a check transmission, and a stop engine. Those will be red in color. And then also amber and red additional tally information lights. To the right, you'll find your pump intake gauge. This is the master gauge, and also your pump discharge gauge. Once again, master gauge. As we move down and slightly to the left, I would like to point out this warning placard. Because of those lines coming from aloft, there's the possibility of entanglement, and that's why we have a warning placard. Crosslay 1, crosslay 2, and the 2.5-inch crosslay. The black round circle is an audible alarm. The outer edge of that bezel does rotate, allowing it to dampen or brighten the sound. This is your pressure throttle governor control module, and in the gray module you'll find lighting control. They are individually switched and also labeled. Also to the right you have a panel light switch, which will activate lights for the panel, and then also just below that you'll find an OK to pump indicating green. If you've properly engaged your pump inside the cab, when you exit, this should be green indicating it's OK to pump. As we move down, you'll find your deluge discharge. And then just to the right, you'll find the number 4 passenger side discharge and then passenger rear discharge. Just to the right of this location, these are your vacuum and pressure test gauge ports. They're currently plugged and utilized for testing purposes. Engine cooler, this is a twist, not a pull. And then also the blue module is your water tank level indicator. Full, 3/4, half, quarter, and red flashing refill. As we move down on the pump panel, minimum operation maintenance schedule. We'll go over this in just a few moments when we have a close-up. Also, the number 1 driver's side discharge. It is a 2.5-inch discharge. And then also the driver rear discharge, also foam capable. As we move to the upper right, you'll find your tank fill and recirculating line. Just underneath that, a warning placard indicating always climb onto the vehicle. Make sure you're facing the vehicle when you do so. Underneath the tank fill, you'll find your fire pump primer, push to prime, air prime, 1000 RPMs for best practices when engaging this operation. Also, you'll find your front discharge, foam capable, large diameter passenger side discharge. We have a few placards here regarding your foam system instructions, and then also the Husky 12 foam system specifications placard. We also have a manual pump shift in the lower left-hand corner. And as we move to the very far right, pressure hazard warning, caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move down, there are two 2.5-inch discharges located on the driver's side of the pump panel, located here, and then also your tank to pump. As we move down, the Pierce logo American flag, large diameter pump inlet. All of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains at the very bottom, and also a warning regarding do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. This is your foam auxiliary inlet, and at the very bottom, color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's move just to the right of this location where you'll find a warning placard. Only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. 2.5-inch driver's side auxiliary inlet, female, locally controlled ball valve. That's your inlet. And then to the right, you have a Watrous placard here indicating the type and capacity of Watrous pump. Also, your main fire pump drain. In the pan door area, let's take a look behind. You'll find this yellow lever. It does match the instructions on the left for horizontal operations, and also fill, you'll move it to a vertical position. As we move to the very bottom in the running board area, additional dry deck material and a cutout section for additional hose. At the very bottom, you'll find your foam pump intake drain and foam pump discharge drain. Going back to those placards, 1,500 GPM capacity on your water pump. This is your minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 PSI. The associated GPM is located on the left for test pressures, and on the right, the associated RPM. Governed speed while in pump mode, 2,130. As we move now to the compartment just to the right of the pump panel area and the body, let's take a look at the very top section. When plugged into Shoreline Power, your Shoreline will activate the air compressor and also the battery charging system. There is also a 12-volt access located barrel style in the upper right-hand corner of the compartment, adjustable shelves, LED lighting, and a pull-out tray in the lower bottom section. As we move to the very top, you'll find a tool board. D-handle gains you access to the rear portion. It will lock into position. Just in front of the rear axle, 2 SCBA bottle storage locations with retaining straps. Here's the tool board in the lock position on the hinge side. As we move down to the wheel, you'll find once again Alcoa wheel and Michelin tire. And as we move to the upper portion rear of the axle, you'll find SCBA bottle storage for a single body. And then also you'll find your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. When the flap is moved to the downward position, it will expose the 4.5 US gallon DEF tank, which is your blue cap. As we move to the rear compartment, same configuration as you've seen in the other, adjustable shelving, LED lighting, ventilation, and at the very top section, 12-volt access via barrel style. As we move to the rear of the apparatus, let's identify a few items within this area. Let's first start with the rear scene lights. It is a cup switched on the driver's side. As we move now into the compartment space, long-handled tool storage, lift and turn latch gains you access just above the step area. A few warning placards here. 1, warning hazard, never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. Also, pressure hazard, caps may be under pressure, be cautious when opening them. Warning regarding entanglement hazard. Because those lines coming from aloft, there's the possibility of entanglement. And then also your traffic advisor recessed, located in the center section. There are two 2.5-inch discharges located here at the rear. And then also a protected cover over the backup camera located directly under the Pierce logo. As we move through some of the compartments in this space, in the lower compartment, ventilation, also dry deck material in the very bottom section. As we move up to the side, passenger side, you'll find 24-foot and 14-foot ladder storage, long-handled tool storage, and your 10-foot attic ladder storage. As we move around to the passenger side, adjustable shelving, and in the very top section, that 12-volt access barrel style. Just forward of this location, SCBA bottle storage for up to 3 bottles, 1 single to the rear, 2 in the forward section. They do both have retaining straps. As we move back down to the rear axle, once again, Michelin tires and Alcoa wheels. Here's a close-up here of the storage location for the 2 SCBA bottles with retaining straps. Just down from this location is where you'll find your exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen operations. Be cautious in regen operation where you park your vehicle. As we move forward to this location into the next compartment, ventilation, LED lighting, and also adjustable shelving and additional storage down in the lower right corner. In the top section, you'll find 12-volt access once again. And then as we move down to the very bottom section, additional storage with Velcro tie downs. Moving forward to this location to the pump panel area, let's start at the very top. Same configuration and layout as you have on the driver's side. There are 3 crosslays, crosslay 1, crosslay 2, and the 2.5-inch crosslay. Also a warning placard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Also inside the pan door is your relief valve. There are instructions for its operation. Here is that pressure hazard warning. There are 2 2.5-inch discharges located on the passenger side. And then as we move forward, you'll find the real rewind push button. And then also a floodlight activation. American flag Eagle Pierce logo, passenger side large diameter inlet. Right next to that is the large diameter discharge, green in color. As we move down from this location, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. This is the lower portion, and at the very bottom section, color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Also in this section, you're going to find a tubbed storage location for additional hose storage, Velcro tie downs, and also dry deck material. Let's go ahead and move inside the cab area at the rear portion. First, let's start with the door panel, and affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, electric window control, and a grab handle. Overhead, we have push on and off white or red lens lights, your David Clark headset system, air conditioning, and also speakers. 2 forward-facing seats are located on the rear cab wall. Once again, when the door does open, the steps will deploy. As we move around to the front, visual sight gauge indicator in the front axle, Alcoa wheel, and Michelin tires. As we move now into the officer space, let's first start in the officer space. Once the door is opened again, the step will auto deploy. Looking now just inside the officer space, you'll find your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, an airbag. Please be cautious when mounting any equipment within this area. As we move up from this location, there is also a glove box located directly above the airbag location. General view of the left side of the officer space. Let's identify a few items within this area. First, start with the radio push to talk button. As we move just inside of that location, you'll find a air brake, which is a protected switch and an indicator when selected. 12-volt access via USB and barrel style. Red and white indicating wire behind the panel. Overhead, push on and off white or red lenses, lights. Also switching for your passenger scene and future switch if necessary. Your Sirius XM Bluetooth AM/FM weather band radio. Directly behind the officer seat is where you'll find your main radio head location in the ventilated box. Let's go ahead and back to the top section of the body area where you'll find your hose bed storage location. There are 4 hose bed dividers located in your hose bed. Also, you'll find on the rear cab additional steps for gaining access aloft and grab handles. As we go back to the hatch compartments, there are 2 at the rear section, passenger and driver, and 2 at the forward section, passenger and driver. Dry deck material and also LED lighting inside each of these hatch compartments. Let's move to the dunnage area next. The dunnage is just to the rear of the crosslay area. This is where you'll find your top fill water and top fill foam locations. Would like to point out a warning placard on your foam tank. Do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. That's what this is indicating. As we move to the dunnage area itself, you'll find your Husky 12 foam system hydraulic reservoir. There is an on-off valve and also a visual sight gauge indicator along with top fill location and hydraulic information as to type and grade. Extend-A-Gun on your master stream device, and then also your booster line. As we move to the cab, we have some warning placards here indicating that this is a non-walking surface. The next set of images are of that of the chassis and cab area, including the engine. When you have chosen to tilt the cab and all items have been secured, once the cab has been fully tilted, all pressure is equal on both right and left cylinders. Please store the safety bar. At this point, do not lower the cab onto the safety bar. Maintain equal pressure on both cylinders. Let's go ahead and move now to the frame rail on the driver's side, where you'll find your battery box and then also your termination points or studs for jumping your vehicle negative and positive. Also, you'll find the reservoir for your hydraulic lift system. This will conclude the additional chassis, engine, and body images. I now have just a short video with emergency warning lights on. Congratulations, City of North Las Vegas, Nevada, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 37058. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.